Hello there.
Very nice.
This is a brand new pre-built PC from a company called Skytech. Yes, you probably heard of them. They make a ton of pre-built gaming PCs, but this is a brand new configuration and they sent out this unit to be reviewed by me. And today we're gonna be answering a very simple question. Should you buy a pre-built gaming PC from Skytech or not? Let's get started. First thing first, the unboxing experience was actually very, very good. And if I'm being fully honest, I don't know if every PC that they ship out comes in that box like that, but if it does, that is top-notch packing for a gaming PC that's pre-built for it to arrive safe and not get destroyed by UPS during shipping. But anyway, the unboxing experience was very, very pleasant. The PC itself was packed really well. It even had a sack over it to protect the glass, to protect the whole case, which is something I haven't really seen in pre-built PCs. So that, starting off the bat, is a plus right there. In the box itself, you get a few cables. You obviously get the power cable to the PC, and they give you a few extra cables that came with the power supply, such as an extra SATA cable and an extra PCI Express cable. That way, if you need to upgrade your GPU in the future or add more fans or change fans, you have those options with these cables. Now on the side, you actually get a mouse and a keyboard included with your PC. The one thing that I want to focus on is this. You get an envelope with your PC that has two important things in my opinion. First, quality control. This is basically a testament that somebody after this PC was built went over and covered all these components, made sure they're all working, and signed off of it to make sure there's quality control that is happening before a PC is shipped to you, which I think is a really nice touch. And two other pieces of information that I haven't seen other PC brands do is, one is maintenance guide, basically how to maintain, how to clean, how to take care of your PC, and the other one is troubleshooting, which we all know anything could happen. And the last thing you get is the customer support card. That way you can contact them directly from here. No need to go in your browser and try to find who do I contact if something is not going right. Now let's move to the star of the show, the PC. Right off the bat, looking at this, you guys see what I'm seeing here. This is a good sign. First of all, they tell you to stop and read the stuff, look what you got, which is really important. And then behind that, there's expandable packing material that is inside of there, holding all the components together. This is the way to ship a PC. If any company out there is shipping PCs, do this. It's gonna add a few extra bucks to your shipping costs, but this is very important because it can prevent anything from breaking your PC. Your GPU will be safe. Thing is gonna move. It's all held tight. And you'll see what I mean when I try to remove this, right? So actually, I love this case. I will talk about it a little bit later. This is how you open it. You just move this and just slowly start removing this packing paper, just like that. And you can see it was holding the GPU in place, no movement. And they even have a second foam in here to actually hold the GPU, which is another awesome thing in my opinion. I like this a lot. This is a really good sign. I saw this with the NZXT PCs before. First look on the PC, that is, yeah. It's very clean. Right off the bat, I can see that all the cables are very tight and they're pulled all the way through. Nothing is hanging out loose. Even over here for the fan cables, everything's plugged in all the way in. Those things are very important when you're looking at a pre-built PC because you don't want to try to turn it on and some of the fans are not working, GPU is not working correctly. Everything seems to be pushed in really, really well, and I don't see any loose cables, which is a plus. One thing that I noticed that is really cool on the back right here, you can see that there's a sticker on the motherboard IO that tells you basically plug your display or your HDMI cables in the GPU and not in the motherboard. I know this is a silly mistake, but believe it or not, people that buy a PC first time, they say on the HDMI in the motherboard and they just plug it in there. Before we continue with this video, let's do a quick satisfying peel. Let's actually talk about the specs and how much would it cost for you to build this exact same PC that you're looking at right here. Starting with the case, this case actually is really, really good. I actually reviewed this case a month ago, and originally it's from a company called Game Ideas, and it's an SOP1. And this case costs $180 right by itself. Super, super nice case, very massive, versatile. You can open it from here. You can open this right here. It's very, very modular. Everything pops off, pops in, super, super easy to manipulate, and super, super easy to clean because there's mesh everywhere. You get a ton of space inside of it to display the parts, which is awesome. Anyway, moving to the main components. For the CPU, we're gonna be getting an Intel 13700K, which for the CPU, you're going to be getting an Intel 13700K, which is currently costing $385. For the motherboard, you're getting an MSI Pro Z69, which is a DDR5 motherboard currently costing $156. For the RAM, you get 32 gigs of T-Force DDR5 running at 5200 megahertz, currently costing $90. For the storage, you get 1 terabyte of M.2 SSD, costing around $74. The GPU, this is an NVIDIA RTX by Gigabit. It's a 4080 and currently only costing $1,100, $1,200. For the CPU cooler, you're actually getting a thermal take 420 millimeter radiator, so 440 millimeter fans, costing around $99, and you get 7 other fans other than the radiator. Get 3 at the top, 3 at the bottom, 1 in the back. So you're totally getting 10 fans with the case. And the last thing is the power supply. You're going to be getting a 1,000-watt gold power supply. The power supply is also by Game Ideas, which makes this case, and it's a really good power supply. Funny enough, I actually have the same power supply right here. I'm actually planning on building a PC with this power supply. This power supply costs around $140, $150. Not to mention you get a copy for Windows 11, which costs around $120. I'll leave the PC part picker down below in the description so you guys can take a look at what I put together. It's pretty much as close as I can get to the parts in here, and the total cost for you to build this exact same gaming PC would come around to $2,580, which is literally crazy because I haven't told you how much this PC spec costs. They're selling this PC spec for $2,609, 30 some dollars more than it would cost for you to build this PC. So think about that. Take a second right now. Think about that. How much time would it take you to build this PC? Is it worth $30? Not to mention you're getting 1 year warranty on the PC parts and the build. So everything is covered for 1 year. If there's any issues, you put it back in a box, ship it back to Skytech, and they'll let them handle it and figure that out. Before we even get to testing this PC and playing games on it, I think that's a great deal. I don't know how they're able to pull it off and make profit on this PC, but in my opinion, I would buy this in a heartbeat if I wanted these specs. It's almost the same exact price for a pre-built or custom built by yourself. So let's flip it around, take a quick look at the cable management and see how good they did. All right. Oh my gosh. Anyway, you guys are seeing this before I do. Well, that looks much cleaner than the PCs I try to build. I'll say that. I like how they use the spaces on the bottom for all the cables that come out of the fans. I think that's actually really, really cool. Everything's zip tied and nicely put together. I think that looks really, really good. But look how much space you have left here. Okay, now that we've covered the specs, the build quality, how much it would cost you to build, time that we boot this thing up, download some software, download some video games on it to see what kind of performance would you get from the Skytech PRISM 2. So let's plug it in. Okay, it's 4 days later and I have set up the PRISM 3 right here. It's plugged into a monitor and I'm actually using the keyboard and mouse that came with it. Quick note, this keyboard and mouse are not bad. This is a membrane keyboard and the mouse looks pretty nice. It feels very light. They both come with braided cables, which is super nice. Obviously, you're not paying for the keyboard and mouse, but you get those, which is nice. Anyway, moving to the PC, the RGB is super, super clean. And the nice thing is all the components are right here are controlled by Signal RGB, which is one of my favorite RGB softwares. And the nice thing is when I booted this PC, set up everything that I have in here, the software that I needed was already installed, which is something that is very, very important in my opinion. Signal RGB was installed on there. The MSI configurator for the motherboard to control the fan speeds was installed too, which is also another plus in my opinion, because when you want to buy PC, you want the software that controls the colors and the fan speed to come installed on it so you don't go hunting for drivers if you don't not into that, if that's not what you're supposed to be doing. And the last thing is, which I've never seen anybody do before, when they actually set up this PC, they save the Windows activation key in a folder on your PC right here. That way, if you ever lose it or if you're ever locked out of your Windows account, you can just use that code when you're talking to Microsoft support and basically get your Windows copy back. That is something that I've never seen done before and I really personally like it. I was a little mistaken. The model that I have in here does have an Intel 13900K, not a 13700K, which is a little upgraded than I mentioned before, but the price that I mentioned for the 13700K, my exact build is the upgraded PRISM 3. We're going to be testing the CPU and the GPU. We're going to see if the cooling is good. We're going to see that the performance is good. First, we're going to be running the Cinebench R23 and we're going to be doing multi-core starting now. Okay. You can probably hear the fans kick in right now and they are going crazy, which is expected. There's 10 fans in here. So while it's running, we're going to be monitoring the temperatures. You can see that the CPU is already at 91 degrees, 90 degrees. Don't freak out. That is kind of normal for this CPU. This is a 13900K. It runs hot. It's a known fact. All right, Cinebench just finished. The temperature was hovering around 90 to 99 degrees, which is very hot for CPU, obviously. So temperature wise, not really worried about it. 3900K runs hot. It's really recommended that you undervolt it. The score that came back was actually incredible. It scored 5,000 over the other 3900Ks that were tested on this. But anyway, now we're gonna switch to Heaven Benchmark and test the GPU and see what we can get there. Okay, the benchmark is running. We're running at 1440p, almost hitting 500, 400 FPS right here. The temperature of the GPU right now is 60 degrees. Okay, doing the GPU stress testing, everything came back normal. The highest temperature I saw during the test was 67 degrees. 67 degrees is incredible for GPU. Now that we've tested the GPU and the CPU, we're gonna be running Passmark to test all the components, make sure that everything comes back normal, no errors, and we get a score that matches all the components that we have. The pass mark test returned with a really good score as expected. That's how this PC is going to score really high. Let's do some gaming. I'm not going to be testing a lot of games. You guys can go out and look online to see what the FPS you can get with this CPU and GPU combination. FPS test number 1, we're going to be running at the highest settings possible in Fortnite at 1440p. First, we're going to boot up in creative and then a solo game. Jumping down in creative, we're getting 250 FPS. When I say really high settings, like the highest settings possible. But yeah, so in creative, 240 FPS, which looks really good. In the battle bus, we're hovering around 170 FPS, 180 FPS. Remember, this is the highest settings. We'll change it here in a little bit to a lowest settings to see what we can get FPS wise. On the ground, 169 FPS, 170 FPS is what I'm seeing. All right, we're gonna go a little bit and hide and change the settings to the lowest. Everything's kind of on the lowest right now. FPS in the 500s instantly. Port the game to the lowest. We are playing on DLSS and we are hitting 500 FPS. Okay guys, that was everything that I wanted to test when it comes to the Skytech PRISM 3. Obviously this is a beast of a PC, but the biggest thing is we wanted to test the quality of the product, not just the PC parts themselves. So in my opinion, Skytech did an incredible job. The PC looks really good, built really good. There was no loose cables, but the most crazy part is all the specs that you see in here. If you tried to build that yourself, you'd be pretty much even with the same price that you'd be paying for this PC. In my opinion, I would go this route if you're looking for a pre-built. This is a great option. It's a high end. It's going to give you really good performance in every game that you can think of at 4K resolution, 1440p resolution. Honestly, I didn't find anything negative to say about this. And honestly, all these opinions are mine. Nothing was given to me as a piece of paper to talk about or say anything that they wanted me to say specifically. They just said, hey, can we send you this PC and you talk about it? I said, yes, I want to check it out happily. And I'm really glad I did. Obviously, they do have other options that are cheaper. And if you're interested in any of those, I'll leave all the links down below in the description and you can check them out for yourself on Skytech's website. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching and I hope you have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye.